woman has never spent a single cent every time she goes to the supermarket, because as long as she gently squeezes the sauce in her hand, it will slide down her sleeve and hide inside her clothes. Then the woman calmly walks past the checkout counter with an empty basket. But every time she gets home, she dumps all the spoils into the trash can, because she's not stealing out of poverty, but doing daily ninja training. It's not just Lisa, her whole family are ninjas hidden among ordinary people. Ever since the last Ninja World War, the whole family has retired. Her husband even keeps telling her to take the stairs when going on the roof, because staying low-key is what a true ninja should embody. But Lisa has always hoped for a chance to return to the action, until one day, the arrival of a carrier pigeon made them realize something big was about to happen. This was a special carrier pigeon from the Ninja Management Bureau, only dispatched for extremely urgent missions. Recently, there had been a bizarre murder case. Everyone on a cruise ship died overnight. The police initially concluded they were all poisoned. The Ninja Management Bureau suspected this might be related to the demon ninja from 6 years ago, so Lisa's family received a mission. She would investigate the list of survivors at the cruise company, while their son Jack would track down a suspicious journalist at the crime scene. By then, the company was in total chaos. Lisa disguised herself as a new cleaning lady and did inconspicuous odd jobs around the office. She deliberately spilled coffee on the manager, and while he went to clean his clothes, Lisa quietly looked through the passenger list of the ill-fated cruise. But strangely, the paper was already blank. However, in the printing room, there was a man constantly shredding documents. He looked very suspicious. Lisa tentatively offered him some coffee, but he said nothing and went straight to lock the door. Apparently, the shredded papers might include the passenger list. From that day on, Lisa paid special attention to this man. Seeing him rush off to answer a call, Lisa followed closely behind. Although he ran into a soundproof room, Lisa read his lips and overheard the phone conversation, picking up the name Carl from his words. After work that evening, Lisa prepared to go home, when the man suddenly stopped her and asked her to make him a cup of coffee. Annoyed, Lisa poured him a full bowl of sugar. When she came back to deliver the coffee, she saw an assassin strangling the man from behind. She quickly lowered her stance, rolled in smoothly, and entered the office, grabbed a small knife from the desk, and threw it at the switch to cut the power. Before the assassin could react, Lisa had covered her face, picked up the candy, used a feint to divert the assassin's attention to the other side. Lisa moved in for a sneak attack, but then her husband called. The slight vibration alerted the assassin. Luckily, Lisa reacted swiftly and subdued the assassin right away. She checked the man's condition, but unfortunately, he was already dead. Unexpectedly, the next second the assassin jumped out the window and escaped. It turned out he had only pretended to be unconscious. The Ninja Management Bureau sent people to clean up the scene, because their top priority was to keep the ninja profession hidden from public view. They found that the man named Carl worked at a travel agency. He must be a key figure. Meanwhile, Jack had gotten another lead by tracking the journalist. Every day he secretly watched the journalist's routine through binoculars, but whenever it came to crucial moments, the journalist avoided being seen. At night, the journalist arrived outside a nightclub and looked around, made sure no one was watching, then put on a mask. Inside, a masquerade ball was underway. He found a guy with a pumpkin head and started talking to him. The pumpkin head had exclusive news. Not all passengers from the cruise incident had died. There was one survivor, and that survivor was the real culprit. Jack heard all this clearly, but what he didn't know was that a man in a clown mask nearby had also heard everything. Just as the pumpkin head was about to reveal the survivor's name, the clown stepped forward and stabbed him to death. He turned to attack the journalist, but Jack immediately stepped in to stop him. After several exchanges, the more skilled Jack pinned him to the table. Yet kind-hearted Jack couldn't bring himself to kill, so he only stabbed the man's hand. The journalist tried to take a photo but was knocked away by an ashtray. For a moment, they locked eyes. The journalist felt an inexplicable familiarity in those eyes. Taking advantage of the moment, the clown broke free and fled. By the time Jack chased after him, the man had been hit by a car at the street corner. Jack checked the body, no wounds on the arms, meaning he wasn't the one who attacked earlier. The fact he could perform a body double technique in such a short time meant he was also a ninja. The real clown had bandaged his wound and ridden off on a bike. The next day, the journalist took the initiative to find Jack. It turned out she recognized her rescuer from yesterday's eyes. Since both wanted to uncover the truth of the cruise case, they agreed to go to the pumpkin head's house for clues. Arriving at the door, they found it unlocked. Sneaking inside, they saw strange symbols on all the furniture, which the journalist recorded. Going further in, they heard movement in a room and quickly hid in a closet. It was the pumpkin head's wife, hurriedly packing her luggage. She seemed eager to flee, but as soon as she stepped outside, a mysterious person knocked her out and dragged her back into the room. The man in the hat acted sneaky, like he was searching for something, until he found a small yellow flower in the fridge and quickly stuffed it into his bag. Then he strung the woman up to fake a hanging, a common ninja method for hiding bodies. From the wounds on his hands, Jack recognized him as the clown from the night before. Only after the clown left did they dare come out of the closet, but the whole scene had been recorded by the journalist. After some research, they learned the strange symbol belonged to an organization called Tengenkai. The two then blended in with believers and infiltrated the headquarters. Strangely, Tengenkai's founder Mark just said a few casual words and gained control over everyone present. Watching the eerie scene, Jack remembered the man from the ninja war years ago. To gather more intel, Jack pretended to be a believer. One day he noticed many senior believers held hands outdoors in prayer daily, and the luckiest two would get to meet founder Mark. Then Jack discovered that a high-ranking member of Tengenkai was actually the clown assassin, who usually disguised himself as a police officer. So Jack sent the clown evidence of the previous night's murder, threatening him to choose two believers wearing red bracelets for the next outdoor Tengenkai event. Those two were Jack and the journalist. The next day, they showed up as promised and prayed with the crowd. True to his word, the clown brought them to meet founder Mark. In an abandoned warehouse stood a table. Mark sat calmly at it, with that small yellow flower placed beside him. Before they could speak, Mark sensed their identities and names, even astonishingly recounted the journalist's childhood fire accident in detail, and saw in Jack the scene of his older brother's brutal death 6 years ago. Then Mark told them to stand, handed Jack a samurai sword through a subordinate, and brought the clown forward. If Jack personally killed the clown, he could become a senior believer. Facing such a ruthless killer, Jack unsheathed his blade without hesitation, but ultimately only cut the clown's restraints. Mark smiled slightly, gave the yellow flower to the journalist, then had everyone leave, leaving Jack alone. Mark removed his disguise and revealed he was the ninja from 6 years ago. 6 years ago, in the Ninja World War, the righteous ninjas won decisively, but during the fight against the leader of the Fuma clan, Jack hesitated out of mercy and only disabled one of the leader's arms. Then, as everyone celebrated victory, the Fuma leader ambushed and killed Jack's older brother. That memory became Jack's nightmare. Now that the Fuma leader had resurfaced, Jack decided to avenge his brother on the spot. But Mark calmly closed his eyes and easily blocked Jack's attack. 6 years of training had widened the gap between them beyond bridging. Defeated, Jack lost confidence in the fight. But fortunately, Lisa's side had made progress. After relentless effort, they finally recovered the shredded document with the passenger list. Carefully cross-checking, they found a man named Carl was the survivor. This matched exactly the name Lisa had overheard. But faced with intense interrogation, he remained unfazed. On the way the Ninja Management Bureau was transporting him, the vehicle suddenly stopped. Two ninjas opened the door and the bureau chief was killed with a single strike. It turned out Carl's backing organization was the Fuma clan. Under threat of blades, Carl shouted that he hadn't leaked the Fuma clan's plan to grow the yellow toxic flower. Hearing this, the Fuma ninjas were pleased, but then the bureau chief suddenly stood up. The two ninjas removed their masks and revealed themselves as Lisa and her husband. It turned out the whole scene was staged to extract information. Thus, the Fuma clan's plan gradually came to light. For 6 years, they had posed as Tengenkai, recruiting followers under the guise of connecting with nature. And in 7 days, during a solar eclipse, they planned to spread the yellow toxic flower through followers to create a sensational global incident. To stop them and save innocent lives, the ninja family began an intense, hellish training regimen. And at that moment, a man was stumbling and fleeing from the mountain, his hair disheveled, right leg injured, collapsing beneath the setting sun. A kind passerby took him to the hospital. The ninja family could never have imagined that this man was their eldest son, supposedly killed 6 years ago.